Hoop 365. We are back with another episode. That's 2 in 1 day, and if you're keeping track, it is episode 9. I got game of the night. I have to do this one because it's again a Brooklyn Nets game. They're just one of the most exciting teams and one of the, I guess, new additions to the league from the trade that happened and whatnot. So I've been keeping tabs on them. Super interested in what they're doing and how they're kind of coming together as a team. And versus a good team like the Clippers, who have been on a roll. I mean, it's just one game that I have to call game of the night. I know the Warriors and Celtics are still playing, but had to get a review in for this one, or reaction to it, and give you my thoughts and what I saw and that sort of thing. So I'm calling it game of the night a little early. That Warriors-Celtics game could go 5 overtimes. May have to get a rebuttal or something, but we'll see what happens here. With this game, I want to go over it, so here we go. We'll start kind of mid-second quarter and then go from there because I think you can kind of get the theme of the game starting at this point. So here we go. All right, so PG, Kawhi, at the start of this game, were playing really well, and they were attacking the rim. You saw that the Clippers came in with kind of a game plan. They probably have seen what all the teams have done to the Nets lately, which is attack the rim, and that's what they did. Kawhi attacked the rim a lot, and they just looked to score. They were real aggressive early. There's a beautiful pull-up from Kawhi right there. He kind of got whatever he wanted. And like I predicted, I thought he would have a 30-point game. I thought it was just going to be one of those games where he gets 30, and it's just like, holy crap, Kawhi has 30 points. But no, he showed out a little bit in the second quarter, had a decent amount of buckets, and had a little string there in the mid-post area where he was going to work. So awesome to see from Kawhi. But man, if you saw my TikTok or if you watched the previous YouTube episode where I broke down what I thought would happen with tonight's game and I gave a score prediction, this one was almost spot on. I nearly guessed it perfectly. I said 128-122. I said it would be a 6-point Nets win. The end, which you'll see, was pretty darn close to that. But getting back to the game, I'm just stoked about that, so I had to add that. And I'll talk a little bit more about it in a bit here. But getting back to the game, so KD, Kyrie, as I thought, had a big game. Kyrie had a really big game. I knew the Clippers would have nothing to guard him. And right now it just seems like Kyrie is really focused and he's really trying to have a good year. And putting this team together, it seems like maybe added a little bit more. I know he had all this stuff going on personally, but I just think he wants to show out this year. And he's just got that really focused mentality, and I love that about Kyrie, especially this year. I think he's trying to prove some things, and a lot of his talking that he does off the court can be backed up by what he does on the court. So he shot the ball really well, 39 points. I mean, he's virtually unstoppable. The mid-range pull-up, as I've said in the past, I think is the greatest pull-up jumper in our league today. His 1-2 dribble pull-up is hard to beat. And you'll see that often here. And I may do a breakdown of that, actually, because I think there's a reason why he's so successful at it. Outside that he's a really good shooter, but that's a dangerous and deadly move by Paul George there with a little shooter's touch. I mean, this game was just fun. Stars all over the place. I mean, how can you not like to watch this type of basketball? But one player, man, right there playing defense that I was surprised had a really good game was Nicholas Batum. I think he ended up with 21 and 6, which is really good for him. 6 rebounds. I mean, he kind of scratches all surface of the box score. Typically, he was kind of a triple-double guy with the Hornets and the Blazers. He would get really close to that pretty often. So I think he can be that kind of third player for the Clippers, and I think he has to be. He's got great size, can guard a lot of different positions. But it'll be interesting to see if he can continue to shoot the ball the way he did in this game and has pretty much all year. He's shooting the three pretty damn well. So I was interested to see that he did good and had a really solid game, and I hope he can continue that because I think he's a big piece for the Clippers moving forward. KD, wouldn't call it a huge game, but he had a pretty big game, 28-9. Didn't have a single assist, which is odd. KD usually gets an assist or two, or I mean, you can expect him to make the right pass, that sort of thing, but I was surprised he didn't have any assists. James Harden, typical triple-double with the Nets. I think you can kind of count on that. But hey, it gets back and forth coming up here. So the Clippers pretty much controlled this game throughout. They had a lead throughout, but Kyrie just kind of kicked it in gear, started getting a plethora of buckets, and it got real interesting, and it got back and forth, kind of how we would imagine it to be. Morris played really well. He hit some big shots, had a big and one towards the end that we'll get to, but there's the claw. Yep. He's just such an opportunistic defender. Like, he doesn't ever really put himself in bad situations, but he knows when to press the issue. It's really pretty cool. Obviously, why he's such a great defender. Check that out, though. Let's look at that again. PG. This is great. Body control and the use of the pump fake to kind of get you an and one. And I think this is something that makes good players great players, is they're really good at the small fundamental things. If you're seeing this and you're working on your game, work on the fundamentals because they go a long way, and all the best players in the league have them. So incorporate that, work on those. They never stop it. But Kyrie, man, Kyrie, he's just a filthy finisher. We can check it one more time. Typical Kyrie with the... Oh, damn, I must have went back too far. Here we go. Oh, Euro. Golly, Kyrie's layup package. Greatest of all time. Kyrie Irving has the greatest layup package of all time. Right hand, left hand, does not matter. But that's what makes him so dangerous. He can shoot the ball so well from every level. He's a small guy that can get his shot off on 6'8" guys with no problem. 6'6" guys with no problem. And it's because he's so decisive with his movements and stuff. But like I said, we'll get into that. But check this out right now. So 8-point game. The Nets are kind of pulling away, getting some separation here. 4 minutes left. I mean, it's real close to my score prediction. It's gone about how I said it would in the previous episode. But I'm interested to see the end. This is kind of what we wanted. A close game with the Nets and the Clippers. They had some close games last year that they couldn't finish out. So, I mean, Paul George choked some things. You know what people said, everything. So, we'll see what happens here. Good pass, good finish, Paul George. That's James Harden D helping off there. Shit, that was a big bucket from Kawhi. Big and one. Again, back to the fundamentals. Just took him to the woodshed and went to work. But that's what separates them right there. So you see KD just gets a one-on-one up top. And I don't think this is what a lot of people realize. So I know we've heard like Isaiah Thomas and people talk about on Twitter like these guys have hoop game. This is exactly what they mean by that. So let's go back to Kawhi. Kawhi's move, really good. Don't get me wrong. But there's a difference between what Kawhi Leonard does at the end of games versus what KD and even Kyrie or some of the elite scorers. So if you see right there, at the end of games, Kawhi usually tries to get with his defender on his back or get his defender on his back so he can get in that post-up, mid-post situation, right? And this is something LeBron has figured out really well. He knows that he is really good out of the mid-post area as a passer and as a scoring threat. And Kawhi knows that as well, but I don't think his coaches put him in that situation as much. I think LeBron kind of pushes that to make sure that happens and gets in those spots himself. But Kawhi, I don't love the end of games situations or positions that he gets put in all the time. I don't think he's a great like one-on-one. You got to get like a jumper right in someone's face type bucket. He would rather drive and hit a spin into a move or drive, pump fake, get you off your feet, and then go up. So that I just think that's interesting on comparing like a guy like KD and Kawhi. So that's how Kawhi gets his buckets late in games. And then as we see here, this is how KD gets his buckets late in games. They're different. And I think that's what separates like the elite and like the best scorers. Don't get me wrong. I think Kawhi is like a really great scorer and an elite scorer, an elite player, top 5 in the league, top 10 in the league, whatever. But I think there is just a difference in their game, which allows KD to be like that notch above, like the elite of the elite, because he can score just like in it on you, get a bucket, like, and the help can't do anything to deter him from making that bucket. It's literally 1-on-1, and the coach can just say, "This is our play. It's 1-on-1. You go make a tough shot." It's a lot harder for Kawhi to do that because he doesn't have that or doesn't like to do that sort of one-on-one, just pull in your face type game. He'll hit the dribble pull up, but at the end of games, he's not gonna like cross, tween, fire in your face. It's either gonna be a spin move with trying to get you on his back, or he's gonna settle for that one dribble pull up, try to get you in the air with a pump fake, or use his footwork. But both very good styles. They work. I just think there's that extra level that KD has, and some of those other one-on-one professionals have. But that's my take on that, and I thought that was interesting to see how they kind of close games and things like that. So there it is again. KD, just dribble up, step right in your face. What can you do? Like, can you picture Kawhi doing that? Because I don't really picture Kawhi doing that. I picture Kawhi, I mean, I know Kawhi's done that, but I feel like that right there you don't see often from him. And even LeBron, you don't see that often. LeBron has done it a little bit more later in his career as he's gotten a better jump shot and that sort of thing. But he doesn't ever just like, hezzy right in your face, pull up. So I think that's what separates KD as an elite level scorer. But, I mean, I'd take either one. They're both, all three, all of them. They're great. If they're all in the same sentence together and you're comparing like that, obviously they're great players. But getting back to the game, man, KD hits a huge shot, and like it's pretty much over, right? 118, 111, 55 seconds. I mean, we said this last time with the Wizards and Nets. So the Nets have been known to give these up. But Marcus Morris was, hey, he played well. That's a big bucket. And it is now 118, 114. And then the Clippers get a steal. Reggie Jackson took a three, by the way. Before that, Marcus Morris or Markieff. I can't even remember which one now. And, man, Reggie Jackson took a forced three on kind of a fast break with like 50 seconds left. And obviously, it's 118, 117 now. Paul George has hit a huge three. But I think if Reggie Jackson doesn't take that forced three and they get the ball in one of their best players' hands, it's a different story. This game's a lot closer. But here we are again, 118, 117. And let's roll it. Obviously, they're going to foul, try and get him to the line. KD, great foul. Didn't allow him to make that bucket. Kawhi makes both of them, per usual. But I think this is funny right here. So Steve Nash calls a timeout. Oh, no. This ain't the part. That's not the part. But this is crazy as hell. Like, what do you do? Oh, my gosh. You got to, like, tackle him or something. First of all, why is he this open? I understand that there's some miscommunication. But, come on. Like, this can't happen. 7 seconds left. You're down 1 point. James Harden, man, you got to throw that 10 out of 10. That's great awareness by him, but you got to foul harder than that, Reggie Jackson. Come on, this is grown man league. You know what NBA stands for. Like, you got to foul harder than that. But, Jeff Green misses the free throw. So they got a chance, right? Oh, but another foul. So here we are. And then they look at it for clear path. I didn't think it was even close. Wasn't clear pass. But Batum misses the first. So now they're kind of screwed. And that's how it ends. Batum misses the first free throw. No chance for a tip out. No chance for that, crazy gimmick to tie the game where they're down 2 or they make a 3, whatever. Didn't get that exciting. But it was still a really good ending. A really good game. Brooklyn kind of came back a little bit, if you'll say. They weren't in control of the game. The Clippers were majority of the game. But great game to watch. All the stars showed out. James Harden triple-double. Kyrie almost a 40 ball. KD nearly 30. Kawhi 33. Paul George 28 or 26 actually. And then Batum had a nice game as well. So another great game. My game of the night. And hope you guys enjoyed. As always, give me a like, subscribe, comment, whatever you feel is necessary. But I do appreciate it, and we will see you on episode 10. We out of here.